I should actually have. I should have in the shot, dude. Right there we go. Can't have that. Whoa. It's the illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. Well, we're at the new headquarters as promised. What's up? 9 years later, that's what's up. We got one of those. I got a spot for it right now. Temporary location. Surf was pumping, SW. Pumping. But the shores was not the spot. I will tell you, it was pumping. Dan in St. Louis, what's happening? Gabriel, Levi, Dylan. Yeah, we're looking good, man. Officially out of the other pad. We're at the new headquarters. Nice tan sand. What's happening, Cassie? How you doing out there? So you guys got a bunch of snow. It's got to be loving that winter time. White gold. What's happening, Mark? I'm stoked. The real Carl Colt is here. Like the YouTube sign. Buried. A Montana bearing. So you guys got how much you get up there, Cassie? Like feet? We're keeping it up. We're gonna rock. We're gonna rock this year. Had the parents over today for a little bit. Hunter Vex. Remember to tell your mom and dad you love them. 18 inches. That's solid. That's fun snow. Fun snow. Yeah, I hope everyone had a good turkey day. We cooked some steaks. Had some cream spinach. Some baked goods. We had some baked goods. And yeah, snowmobile snow. I've never ridden. I've never done that. I haven't been on the sled before. Bethel. Yeah, we're getting the new. Oh, can you see the mini donkey out there? Oh, it's right there. The mini donkey is right. Wait, if I hold up the thing, I think the mini donkey's right there. The mini donkey's fully in on the scene. It's at the mini donkey, got the moosh over there. Moosh is in hibernation right now. He's blah blah blah. What's going on? The new crib's coming along. We're getting settled in, but as you can see, we still got boxes going on. It's still a box thing, but all the room's been nice. I've finally been able to sit and do some art, produce some new art the other day. Kind of finished up an old style. You see, it's like the portrait of the two ladies sunning at the beach. It's like a cubist painting. I think it's cubist, right? I forget. But I got another one going too. Oh, I thought I've done more than I thought. And then I was scrolling through my Instagram the other day. Cassie, thank you for the mini donkey fun. Much appreciated it. We'll be providing entertainment and commentary through this through the winter. I think we're gonna have a good winter. We've been getting a lot of rain. It rained the other day, and then I was going through my Instagram, and I saw this old piece of art I'd done, and it actually had made it out to my buddy who works for for Trump or one of Trump's people. I forget what he does out there. You've seen him on this channel before, Chris Garcia. If you're out there listening, Chris. So he got one of these pieces of art. It's out there in Washington right now. The president might even see it. How's that? Maybe. I doubt it though, but it's close. It's literally 1 degree removed from the commander-in-chief, a piece of my art, because my buddy does converse with the commander-in-chief. Blah blah blah. Love your vids, your life mission. It's very inspiring. Well, we're gonna have a special guest on this episode. I'll just warn you. So I was all stoked. I'd made like a colored kind of garland thing with the space and the whole thing. So I was like, just trying to get the juices flowing again on the whole art vibe. Is that the mood? No, that's my my recessed lighting in the ceiling. So I was kind of doing one of those, and I was getting all fired up on the whole new space and like room. Like there's lots of room. Al and I are going to get a whole Lego thing set up in the garage here in a bit. It's going to be pretty rad. We'll do a house tour here in one of these days real soon, but we're not quite settled in. The plants haven't been rearranged. Oh, here's our special. Here's a special guest for the 9-year video. It's Owl, and you all know the hologram, my wife.
Happy 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years on the YouTube.
Hi.
So,
it's weird. I've never seen it on a computer.
What do you mean?
It's always on your phone.
Oh.
I've been gone for a year.
Yeah, I've been gone for a year.
I'm back.
she's back.
Bye.
Oh, you're out. You don't want to stick around?
No.
That was it. That was.
All right. We're going to read Captain Underpants.
No Play-Doh. Oh, no Play-Doh.
No, this is the art box.
We're not in the garage. Don't open the Play-Doh. We got carpet.
No.
Really? You're not coming in for a full interview?
Oh yeah, no. No.
You don't want to tell them about the first. She didn't, when we first were dating, she didn't know I made YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, no. I knew nothing about the haircut.
She knew nothing about it. And we've known each other a while.
Long time.
Yeah. But yeah, here we are. Yeah. Here we are. So I'll hype the
as he plays with nervously fidgets.
No, I'm not. I was taking it off. So my wedding ring was actually made by my wife in her jewelry making class. Yeah, how's that?
His melted.
Well, technically, got it. I found one of them up there.
Yeah, your Elvis one.
The
irony is the one that we got at the Elvis Chapel, the cheapie, the like $10 one.
Survived. Yes.
And the nice one.
Melted. Into the oblivion. Yeah, lots of things melted in that fire.
Yeah, we'll go read it while Daddy finishes his video. Okay,
You're out.
Yeah. They don't want to talk to you. Oh, we're gonna go.
You're out. Okay. We'll have more. We'll do a more formal.
We will.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can pull up a chair. You can talk about baking or something.
Right, because I do a lot of that.
Yeah, you were baking like a possessed person the last couple of days.
Keto brownies.
Here we go. Let's hear about the keto brownies.
Bye.
They're pretty good.
See? Okay. Come on, Owl. Let's go.
The keto sugar cookies.
Not so good.
No.
Oh, he's got a lot of constructions. All right. Here we go. I don't stay too long.
Yeah. So yeah, we're all hanging out and chilling, man. It's a all right, Planet Claire. No yelling, man. We're only allowed to yell about one thing. Planet Claire, you're on a timeout. We don't need to yell about that here, dude. I put you on a timeout. Well, officially back as far as this this goes. But yeah, you know. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. That's for sure, man. It's yeah, here it is, the real life television show. Like the full Truman Show to the core. Like here you are. Oh, look at that nice brand new wetsuit. That's the suit I got last year and I never used. That is waiting for a magical day. We got the Thrasher look. I found actually when I was moving, I found that I had this hoodie. So it's been literally sitting in my closet for a year, unbeknownst to me. I was stoked. It fits perfectly. The minigram tried to get it from me already. I let her wear it to Friendsgiving. These the new generation. The Truman Show at its core, dude. Fully let you guys in. Yeah, GXR, we pulled it off, man. We went in. Yes, it was gnarly, but you know what? We're stronger and better for it on the other side, man. You know, I will say this is it's a deeper contract, and you really only get to find out what it really is until some real heavy stuff goes down, and if you're able to like communicate through it. Yeah, Friendsgiving. It's the so the new No Agenda guys did a big breakdown of Friendsgiving. It's a full New World Order thing to get people to LIVIN. That's right, Lily. To get people to break the tradition. And most people don't understand that Thanksgiving was really supposed to be a tradition for that started with the Civil War soldiers giving thanks for having survived the battles. It was Lincoln, I believe. I'm just getting this all from No Agenda. That's my source, the No Agenda podcast. But Dvorak does a whole breakdown of it. Because the whole like mythology about the Pilgrims and stuff, because if you really read up on what the Pilgrims did, is they actually like stole all the food stashes from the original people that inhabited the Cape Cod area who had died from the plague a couple years before, and they found their food and actually were like stealing their food. But so the big Plymouth Rock thing's sort of a hoax, but the actual Thanksgiving holiday was a proclamation by Abraham Lincoln, and it really wasn't about the Pilgrims. That was a marketing campaign, actually, and I think that's interesting. So it's like it used to be like more of a patriotic thing than a bird thing. You know what I mean? What's happening, Zombie Apocalypse? The move is done. Yes. There you go. Lily's giving us. Lily's breaking up some data there. Like I said, I was just giving you my third hand recount of my scrambled No Agenda podcast as I was driving down the PCH from surfing Perfect Strand the other day. The waves were so good on Thanksgiving. I'll tell you what, the waves were so good on Thanksgiving. It was like, wah. So yeah, the whole energy frequency is totally shifted in the other direction. The surf's come back. Everything's happened. The new house is fully like harmonious. All right, Cassie, go enjoy your board game with your children. I love that. That is a beautiful thing to be doing. Enjoy the snow, man. Stay bundled up and warm. So yeah, Pippi, a lot of thanks to you out there, Lily. So here we are. It's 9 years today, YouTube, from that very first random video. And for people who don't, I'll do a little recap of the story, how we ended up on this thing 9 years later. Who would have thunk? So I had my buddy Billy Carodi had died drunk on a motorcycle. We were all working together on a job crew. So he had died on the 24th, I believe. And it was a giant bummer. And I was super bummed. And one night, the night before, I guess it would have been the 28th, I had been kind of bummed about the whole scene. So I prayed. I asked God what to do. And I woke up at like 5 a.m, like bolt, like bam. And it was like, all I heard from the ether was, put all your money on blue. I was like, put all your money on blue, get a laptop. And so I hadn't had a laptop or anything in like a decade. I was super paranoid about it all. Like I just didn't do any of that stuff. So I called up my buddy who helped me get sober, David B out there in New Jersey, one of my guardian angels. I had called him up and I was like, hey man, like I need to get a laptop today. And I have enough money to get one, but I don't know what to get. I'm clueless. And this guy had, you know, some tech knowledge or was into it, you know, a little bit into that whole thing. So I called him up and he picked me up and we went and got a Dell, I think, like down at Best Buy. We went and got a full new blue, bright. This was a thing. It was bright blue. Cause I was like, put all your money on blue. I was like, what does that mean? So I went and I got it and we picked up this kid we had been working with. This kid, I won't mention his name, this young guy. And we went over to his house because I think he was helping us out or something. And he was like, hey, this rehab that I went to wants you to work for them. So give him a call. Whatever. So I get the computer all dialed in. I go back to my trailer that night, which was the 29th. And I'm flipping it on and I'm kind of dialing it in. And I had it connected to the Wi-Fi. Whatever, I'm doing the thing. I'm surfing the net. And I decided to make a video with the camera because but when I'd had laptops before, they didn't have the camera. You had to get the accessory, external camera, the whole thing. So I had never really had the built-in camera vibe. So I made my very first thing I ever did with the, thank you, Cassie. The very first thing I ever did, and that's Cassie Effring. The very first thing I ever did was I besides turning it on and getting it online was I made the very first illusion video, which was 2 minutes long or something. I forget. I should look that up and send you a link, but I don't want to distract myself right now. And I made the very first video, but I didn't make it. All right, you have to understand this. This is the one thing 9 years later on YouTube with one of these things sitting in the background, all you guys hanging out here on a live stream. When I made that very first video, I didn't know what YouTube was at that point. Do you understand? Like I had the laptop, I was trying out the camera, I make the very first video. I have no idea about YouTube at this point. I'd been off the grid getting drunk for a decade. Like I just didn't know. I had no idea. I had no concept of YouTube. You really must understand that. So I make the first video, and I had a Facebook account because I was I was working at this rehab. So everyone, like Facebook had just come online, was the big deal. This is 2009, 2010. So in 2010, the beginning of 2010, I had a Facebook account and whatever. Like Facebook was cool back then, you know, because you could find people that, whatever, that, you know, the story. So I had a Facebook account, and it was like, with the video, it was like, do you want to upload it to Facebook? And I was like, all right, if it's that easy. And it was, because I had a Facebook account. So it was like bing, bing, bing. And then it was like the next prompt was, do you want to upload it to YouTube? And I was like, if it's that easy. And it was the thing where I set up my account, but it was back when YouTube was dumb basic. You didn't have to go through Google and all this nonsense. I literally just created a password and my name, and that was it. And boom, I uploaded that video. So that actually, I have the order wrong. It asked me to go to YouTube first. I did YouTube. That's right. Because then once I got my thing into YouTube, it was like, do you want to share this onto Facebook? And I was like, okay. And I shared it onto Facebook, because this is the critical part. So I shared it onto Facebook, and like 30 people I know on Facebook saw it. Like my mom, my buddies, and you know, I was newly sober. So if you watch the first video, it's like people were like, oh, what's your deal, dude? Are you okay? Like basically the 30 people who watched the very first ever YouTube video basically all got a hold of me and were like, are you okay? Because at the time I'm living in that teeny little trailer that was half the size of this room with one electrical cord going to it. I'm 11 months sober. I'm out of my mind. And my buddy had just died. Like my working friend had just, like one of my best friends had just died, dude. So people got a hold of me and were like, you got to watch the first video for really the context and know that like the dude in that very first video is not making a YouTube video. He is just playing with the camera. So I make that very first video. I share it to Facebook, whatever. I just start making them in the evening. I come home in the evening. So the first like 9, you have to understand, and this is something that like I can look back and trip on now because I can go back and look at them. The first 9 or 10 seemed to be like monumental to me at the time. Like, whoa, dude, I made like my 4th video, and they had all that weird trippy rainbow effect stuff. And I do my very first interview. I think Johnny Strange is on the wingsuit dude who I'm helping get the skate park built in the honor. He died. And I think I interviewed Johnny Strange early on in the whole YouTube thing. But I don't have any cameras. There's no iPhones at the time. Remember that. There's no iPhones really at the time. It's all Blackberries at the time. So I'm taking my laptop with me and I'm doing all my stuff with my laptop. Like there's like the early ones. And I do the whole thing, and I just start rolling with it. And I'll give you a little, for those who are new to the whole thing, I'll give you a little history of how it works. So I just make YouTube videos in the beginning. Like they're not YouTube videos. They're just a sober dude. If you watch the first 25 videos in my YouTube catalog, it's just a dude trying to stay sober, man. There's no concept of YouTube. There's no concept that I'm doing anything that will equal something. It's just a dude playing with his computer, trying not to drink one day at a time. That's all that's going on. We roll the clock forward like a month into it, a month and a half, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go get a camera. So I get it, like a camera, a little handheld camera. And I make one of those early surf videos. Like, I don't know if it's the January surf day one. That might be year 2. I think it's right in that time. I forget because, like I said, the beginning of YouTube was very compressed when I look back on it. But at the time, it was super expansive. It just like, it all seemed to be like, it was a big winter. The surf was pumping that winter. That first winter I got sober, the surf was pumping, dude. Every day I was surfing. And so what's going on? I just keep making the videos. I post them on to YouTube, but really I'm putting them on YouTube to put them onto Facebook. That's the whole thing. That's my mentality in the beginning. It's just to make videos on YouTube so I can put them onto Facebook. So if you don't know, like the no balls, no nets thing is like my first thing that gets any traction, and how it gets traction. And this is what starts the whole gets me here is I make the no balls, no nets. So when I was a Grom surfer guy, you know, in my 20s, 19, 20, there used to be these movies called Run Man. This is surfing history and lore of Malibu, California. There used to be these, and this is like the beginning of like surfing movie culture. It like takes a twist. So this dude, Ray and Morgan, start making these movies called Run Man. And they're sort of just diced up movies about the local surfing scene in Malibu. And they're pretty FU to the whole thing and the whole surfing culture and all that. So I'm end up being in one of the I can't read the comments right now. So if anything critical is going on, I got to keep in my story mode. So that's to you, Brett. Because I make these videos. The no balls, no nets are an homage to the Run Man movies, but at the same time, because I got the new thing, I'm watching a lot of skate clips, little skate videos, and I'm like, dude, these suck, dude. And because all it is like music and headless skaters like skating around. I'm like, this is boring, dude. Like, you know, skate videos are very boring unless you're like a full in it skate guy. Like, oh, look at that, that's gnarly. They're pretty boring, and it's just a lot of tennis shoes and skateboards doing tricks. And I was like, this is kind of boring. I was like, I want to make a skate surf video like the Run Man videos. So I start making no balls, no nets, dedicated to all activities not involving a ball or a net. And what happens is, this is how it happens. This is just how God works mysteriously in our lives. What happens is the high school kids at Malibu High start watching no balls, no nets. And I'm doing that in the spring of 11. No balls, no nets. So the high school kids start watching no balls, no nets. And in the process of that, I do the Thrasher magazine. So back in the thing, skaters used to read Thrasher magazine and give their commentary on what was in Thrasher. I do my very first Thrasher magazine. I got to get the name right because this is the dude who puts it all together. There's 2 different things that happen. Jason Dill gets a hold of this video, and this other dude, Logan Lahr at Malibu High, who's in with Elijah Burrell down at Girl, gets a hold of it. So Jason Dill gets a hold of the Thrasher thing, and he pumps it through the Thrasher mechanism. So it gets into skating culture. Logan Lahr, who's at Malibu High, what's the dude at Girl who makes all the Crail Couch videos? Aaron down at Crail Couch knows that Logan's up in Malibu. My code name used to be like Malibu Illusion, not The Illusion. And I had a whole Malibu thing going. It used to be my call sign, reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth, Malibu, California, whatever. So Aaron gets a hold of Logan, and Logan's like, yeah, I know this. I can get a hold of this dude. He's friends of my friends. Logan calls me up. It's like, dude, you want to go down and be on the Crail Couch? Again, I have no idea what the Crail Couch is. I'm like, sure. I show up. It's the first time I meet Elijah Burrell. I go do the Crail Couch thing. The Crail Couch thing blows up. So I go viral in the skating world. Like it picks up in the skating world. When that happens, I have this person in Malibu, this Malibu local girl who starts tweeting, early Twitter, starts tweeting my videos out. It gets picked up by one of the producers from Monster. Hold on. I got to back up the story. I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold, time out. So I'm doing the skater thing, the whole thrasher thing. I do the bowl cut maintenance thing. In middle of 11 sometime. I do the bowl cut thing. I'm bored one day. I'm having fun with it. I'm not thinking big top. I make the bowl cut video. It ends up going to this producer. I get it kind of blurry, dude. So it ends up going to this producer. Timeout. I think I got the order wrong. I don't know. I got to go look at the archives. It was 9 years ago, right? I think I do the bowl cut thing before the thrasher thing. I go down. I remember I'm down at Sunset Boulevard at some tall 900 Sunset Boulevard, and I have my first production meeting. This producer guy who did Monster who had won an Academy Award calls me down to have a meeting, and he's like, "Hey man, like I'm doing this whole like online TV shows thing. I got like 10 shows. We're doing a whole online thing." And I'm like, and he's like, "Dude, I want you to do a show." He's like, "I want you to come up with your first 10 episodes." And I was like, "All right, man, like bitching, dude. But you have to understand, I'm newly sober guy. I just gotten like a year sober. I'm sitting in this building on Sunset Boulevard having a production meeting. And I'm like, dude, you have to understand, at that moment, I'm like, this is the greatest ever. Because I was like down and out, sober, ruined, drunk, alcoholic on top of some mountain a year and a half before. Here I am, I'm having a production meeting. This dude's like, "I want you to come up with your first 10 shows, blah, blah, blah." She's like, "We'll meet back here in 2 weeks." So my original pitch was I wanted to do a live interview person, like a people variety show, right? And I was going to do them at like the lifeguard headquarters, surf shops, music studios. I had the 10 of them lined up. And what they were going to do is I was going to put it out on social media through my Facebook network, because Facebook was relevant back then. I was going to put it out. It was like a young person's thing back then. I was going to put it out via Facebook, and I was just going to turn the cameras on for an hour. And I was already going to have like a nugget of people associated with whatever venue I was at. And we were going to do like interview, but I was going to have people bring chaos to it. Like unknown chaos was going to come and like descend upon this interview setup, because I'm into chaos. And so I go back to this dude and I'm like, "All right, I got my 10 shows. And I tell him my idea. And he's like, "Well," I remember this, dude. He's like, "Well," because this is what he's like, "My idea is this." This is typical Hollywood stuff. He's like, "My idea is this." He's like, "I envision you at a pool." with skaters skating and a band playing and you in a lifeguard chair and go-go dancers and you doing like commentary while all this is going on. And I'm sitting in the thing, and you have to understand, like, I'm fully aware of myself. I go, I'm already doing a parody of myself. I'm already making fun of myself with the bowl cut, the whole shtick, with the red hat. You got to remember, you know where the red hoop, why Charlie Sheen's wearing the red hat, too. I'm going to take full credit for when Charlie Sheen's wearing the red hat, doing the tiger's blood. That dude's one step removed, too. So I'm like, so I leave this meeting and I'm like, that dude's idea sucks. I'm not doing that. I'm not selling out. And I go, it's the hair. I'm driving down Sunset Boulevard in my Terra Cruiser 1, the Volvo, right? That's its own crazy story. And I'm looking in the mirror and I go, it's the hair, isn't it? It's this bowl cut thing. So I shave my head. I shaved my head that night. I do that head shaving video. It's 3 videos later. I do the Thrasher thing. So I'm becoming aware of how it works. I shave my head and all of a sudden I noticed the vibe, because that's when I used to be all involved with the comments and all that stuff early on. I realized like people were like, what did you do? Like, oh, what did you do? And I was like, oh my God, did I cut my hair off like Solomon, dude? Isn't that the dude I cut my hair off? I lost all my power, dude. My mojo's gone. And then 3 days later, I do the Thrasher magazine thing. That blows up. Boom. That's right. Cause I'm on the Reddit. I'm on the Trail Catch couch with my cop mustache and my hair is shaved. That's right. Yeah, that's right. So now we're back on the timeline. Now we're getting it together. So, and this is the interesting factoid. So the thing, my YouTube thing blows up in the skateboarding world. I get like all sorts of hits in the skating press in Canada. People start sending me the boxes. The boxes start showing up immediately. After that's when the box thing was pretty raw. The boxes start showing up. I remember I got my very first box from Etnies. Etnies sent me that big box of stuff, man. And that's when that video is when I open my mouth and I'm like, I'm going to run for city council and get a skate park built in Malibu, because at the same time that's when they're closing down the local skate park. And I was like Pierre, because I was skating the Etnies Bowl up in the hill. And I was like, this dude's sending me boxes of stuff. I'm going to I'm going to run for city council. Right? I say it in that video. It gets trippier from here. So understand that the Thrasher skate review thing's what blows me up. It's not the bowl cut thing. The bowl cut going viral is still a year plus away. That's the trippy thing about the bowl cut and God's mysterious plan for us all. So I get the Etnies box. The boxes start showing up. Those trippy dudes show up from Minnesota, stay at my house for a while. I'm living over in that trippy house. I get called in for my 3rd production meeting. I get called into Hollywood to go meet with these dudes. One thing I learned, because I was newly sober, is just say yes. So I just say yes. I wouldn't ask any questions. These guys were like, you want to meet us for a meeting? I'd be like, yeah, sure. Just tell me where and when. And I'd show up there. And so I show up at this meeting, right? And it's these 3 young guys in this like production office somewhere off of Sunset Boulevard and off the strip, dude. And I'm in this meeting and I start doing my thing, I'm just me and I got these 3 dudes. They're sitting on the couch. I'm telling them stories about this and that. I'm just gunning, dude. Running and gunning. I'm your talker. And so like about half an hour into this meeting, I just stop, like cold stop, and I stare at these three dudes, and I look right at these guys, and I'm like, who are you? I look right at them, I go, like, who are you guys? And they start laughing. They're like, you don't know who we are? I go, I have no idea who you are. I go, you told me to come meet you for a production meeting. I'm here. I don't ask questions. Like, who are you guys? They're like, we're the producers of like Pineapple Express and all those movies at that time, all those young movies with the Seth Rogen, Roland, whatever that guy was. You know, all those movies. Pineapple Express was the main one. I remember them throwing at me, and I was like, oh, right on. Bitchin', okay, cool. And then the one dude looks me square in the eyes, and he's like, so, are you going to run for city council or not? And I look at this guy, and I'm like, so you guys really do watch my videos? They're like, oh, yeah, we totally dig what you're up to. And I'm like, what am I up to? They're like, we don't know, but we fully like what you're doing. And they're like, but are you going to run for city council? And the Edney's Box video is the only place I'd ever mentioned it. And I mentioned it just talking smack. And I start talking. And what you got to understand is I'm a political wonk. I've always watched and been involved with like peripherally what's going on with my local city council. And I'm just that kind of guy. So I switch my whole bead and I just start talking to these guys about the city of Malibu and like what's going on with the city and the policies and the this and the that. And these three dudes are like, you have to run for city council, man. Like it'd be a waste of you if you didn't. And I was like, really? I look at these dudes and I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, like, come on. And I go, all right, let me think about it. And I go, so, but what are we doing here in this meeting? And they're like, well, look, this is what we're thinking for you. And this was like, again, one of these opportunities that just didn't happen. They're like, we're working on this account for Virgin Air. And what we want to do is this is what we want to do with you. We want to send you on we want you to make in-house content for Virgin Air. What we want to do is we want to send you blindfolded or something to that on flights where you land in a city that you don't know where you're going to land, and you just get up on the airport, get there, and you have 3 days to do what you do for 3 days. But you won't know anything going in. I go, I love it. I'm in. That's my cup of tea, dude. Yeah. We got to back up the clock just a little bit, because about 2 months before that, I'd gotten that ad agency had flown me out to London. The ad agency called Mother had flown me out to London. I'd done that whole those London videos, and these guys had seen those too. So that's all in the first year of YouTube. We're not even a year into it at this point. So I take these dudes seriously on the city council thing. I end up running for city council in 12. So the election was in April. I run for city council. Me and my buddy run this like no money, no sponsors, full DIY campaign, and we almost pull it off. Like people are afraid of us. Like we're getting some like kind of heavy comments. Like, dude, you guys might get Chinatown here, dude. Like seriously, your guys are gnarly, dude. But whatever, move it forward. The first time one of the people from Tosh calls me, this dude calls me up. He's like, hey, man, we're whatever production company. We want to have you on Tosh.0. again, I don't watch television. I have no idea who Tosh.0 is. I don't even bother looking into it, right? I'm like, yeah, sure, man. Like, I'm in. They're like, all right, we'll get back to you. You're down to do it? I go, yeah, sure. Just tell me when and where. I'll show up. Again, I never ask about money, any of this stuff. I'm just, yeah, sure. Just tell me when and where. They're like, all right, we'll call you back. And they call me back like 3 weeks later. And they're like, hey, man, like, come on down on the in like a month. We got you scheduled in for this thing. You're on this date. I'm like, all right, man, like bitching. This is trippy, by the way. Hang on to this weird thing. So they call me back. They're like, it's not going to work, dude. We've decided to write your part bigger. We're going to give you a bigger part. So why don't you come down on this? We're going to call you back. Come down on another day. I go, yeah, no worries, man. It's all good, dude. Whatever you got going. They call me back and they're like, show up down on the studios this day. What day is that? So anyone, if you guess the date that I show up on at this Tosh.0 studios, you win a t-shirt. I'll just right now. Just what was the date? Just the day and the month that I end up going to the Tosh.0 studios for t-shirt giveaway right now. Planet Claire, you're out of here. Nope. No one's got it, dude. It's super obvious. It couldn't be any more obvious. Just think for a second. Ang Ho's got it, dude. Ang Ho, email me and I'll get you squared away. All right, there's an email link down below. You got it, man. Yeah, so it's November 29th, dude. I'm literally driving to the Tosh.0 studios on November 29th of 2012. And I'm driving. I'm like, dude, how trippy is this? 2 years later, I get to the Tosh.0 studios. I'm standing in the sound stage. I got all the makeup artists, all the stuff going on, the whole thing. And I go, yep. Because I've been working with my spiritual advisor. I go, this is all meant to be, dude. This is all meant to be. And so I filmed the Tosh.0 thing, right? Still don't really get. I never checked it out. I'm like, I meet Daniel, dude. Like we'd surf together down at Little Doom and stuff, and I didn't know him, but like we had mutual stuff. So mutual surfing experiences, if you will, and I forget about it, dude. Whatever, forget about it. They're like, yeah, we'll send you here. Fill out this. Something will show up in the mail. It doesn't air for another, I don't think it airs till April, if I'm mistaken. It doesn't air till April, maybe February. Again, I have no idea who Daniel Tosh or Tosh.0 is. And I tell my buddy, I'm like, dude, I'm going to be on Tosh. They're like, dude, you're going to get destroyed. Hey.
I want to check if my kombucha's in your office.
Your kombucha's not in the office. I think it was on the counter. Close the door, Bird. Thank you. I don't know who. I never watched the show till my buddy. I didn't even watch it when it first aired. Like it took me like a week to finally like track it down. But I remember my one buddy was like, You're going to be on Tosh? I go, yeah. He's like, dude, you're going to get destroyed. I'm like, what do you mean? You don't know what Tosh is? And I'm like, no, I have no idea. He's like, he's like, bro, it's like the dude rips on like YouTubers and like makes total fun of them. And I'm like, oh, it's great. Like, awesome, man. Like, superior. And dude, like the Tosh.0 thing went out and my channel like blew up. The first blow up. And I still hadn't seen it. People were like, oh my God, that was great. Oh my God, that was rad. It took me like a week to finally track it down and finally see it. And I was like, oh wow, dude, like that dude gives us full props. Like in 10 minutes, I was like a rat. Like I got treated very well by Daniel Tosh. Like on Tosh.0, as far as Tosh.0 goes, like they did me right. I love the whole twist with it being a Fight Club twist and the whole thing. So that's 2 years into this thing, man. And it's been a wild ride, dude. It has been a wild ride indeed. So here we are 9 years later, dude. So I mean, and then life's happened. Well, like what, 9 years, right? 2 city council races, a child, house burned down, almost got divorced, healed the marriage, moved into the new headquarters here. It's been all the skating and surfing. So I'm looking forward to the next phase of this because, like, finally, it's been very hard for me to do the no balls, no nets the last couple years. If you know, I had my back blow out. I surfed the other day. I forgot like my back had been injured. Dr. Kim, if you're out there, Dr. Kim, like I just can't thank you enough for healing me. And it's been a trip, but I'll say what the trippiest thing though really was that video I made on the beach a year and a half ago where I'm like, I'm going to get 100,000 subscribers by the next year. And that was when all the real growth happened. It's weird because I stayed at like 25,000 viewers for like 5 years. I just stayed at like the same view count for like years. And then the algorithm blew me up last year a couple of times. And so it's all algorithm. It's definitely not, I don't have any control over it. Like I'm telling you, the videos that I've made that I put my sweat into, the videos I thought were going to be genius and like go viral, have all fizzled. It's all the stuff I don't think about. And I think that's half the reason I just do it this way is if I think about it, it's almost the kiss of death. And I think that's why I like to do these live streams the way I do them and not bring any notes or any like preconceived notion of what's going to happen. Because I've found that the real magic happens when I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if I think about life and the whole thing of, so I woke up this morning, right? I got up early, dude, and I just laid and I had like that, when you get a real clear look at your like being a bad human past, like your youthful fumbling, if you will. And I was thinking about it and I was like, God, I was like totally out of control. Cause I got a teenager in the house and, we're real identify on a certain level. And I was like, why? And I'm like, it's just me. I see me. And I'm like, so I was thinking about it this morning and I was like, my parents do the nonsense I put my parents through and just the opportunities missed. I really started thinking about like the opportunities missed and just the resources wasted and, growing up in that sort of privileged life, man, and not taking advantage of it and ultimately just spilling my milk everywhere, just blah, blah, and ultimately just becoming like a drug addict alcoholic. And And I was like, where did that start? Like, where did that start? And I was thinking about it, and I was like, I remember this day. And this is just, so I remember, all right, I've always been kind of doing my own thing, right? And I remember this day, like, I got a 49ers raincoat. I couldn't have been, I must have been 7, 8 years old. I got a 49ers raincoat, like a long one. It was rad. I'm getting 40. I loved the 49ers when I was a little guy. You know, it's from football was different back then in the 70s, you know. Joe Montana was Joe Montana comes later. It's whatever. I was a 49ers kid. And I remember going to school and getting fully picked on because I had my 49ers like raincoat. You know, kids are awful, right? And I remember just getting hassled and just being bummed I had it, and just, you know, I loved it, man. I was so stoked to get it. And then I'm at school getting hassled about the 49ers. And I'm like, I hate my jacket, dude. This jacket sucks, dude, kind of thing, you know? That always will stand out because I will always remember being down at the store on the Santa Cruz, at the Pacific Garden Mall in Santa Cruz, buying that with my mom. I always remember buying that with my mom on that rainy day and just being so stoked. Oh, I'm going to get this Niners jacket. And I also will remember that Monday at school getting fully like hassled and picked on. And, you know, because I wasn't the cool kid. You remember the Bad News Bear, right? The Bad News Bear, the blonde kid they throw the shake on and Kelly comes in and like defends him. Linus, was it the kid Linus? I was that kid. I wasn't that good at sports. I was kind of goofy and a little bit introverted and just some kid from the hills. I think, what was the kid from Bad News Bears, dude? The blonde one, dude. He gets picked on at the burger stand. Kelly comes to the day and the team rallies around him. I love the Bad News Bears. What a great movie. What a great Walter Matthau movie, dude. Bad News Bears. They don't make movies like that anymore, do they? Will kids be talking about what a great movie the Bad News Bears did, with all the things, all the like good values instilled about standing up for your teammates and ultimately like winning by losing and Bad News Bears. So anyway, I was the kid who got picked on. And I was thinking about that this morning. Like I had that full thing. And then I remembered this. I remember there was these 2 really mean sisters, Nancy and April Wiley. And I remember being on the bus. They were older. Than me. And I remember being on the bus and my mom had gotten me like, I think it was for like Christmas. It was like right after Christmas, I think. Had gotten me like a bomber jacket, you know, the one with the big furry like collars, like that the fighter pilots from World War II used to wear, like a bomber jacket. And I remember she had got me some like cool like pins, like airplane, like you know, P-51 pins for the lapels, right? And I'll never forget sitting in the back seat and these 2 older lame chicks just fully like hassling me to no end that day. Even to the point, I remember that one of them grabbed one of the pins and I like had to like wrestle with her and she smashed it on my like thing. And I was like so bummed, man. I got hassled a lot in junior high, man. Like I was like one of those kids, and yet I always had like cool friends, but I remember older kids used to pick on me. Like my friends, like my age group used to be really solid, but it was always the kids that were a couple years older that used to really like give me a hard time. Funny when you think, so I was thinking about that this morning, right? And I was like, because it made me defiant on a weird way. And then, you know, like I got into high school and I just found drugs and alcohol, that whole crew, and I just became a stoner surfer, kegger kind of kid, man. And then it was all like, F the police and, you know, getting in trouble with the cops and, you know, all that stuff, a parent's worst nightmare. And I think that snowball just took a life of its own. My parents were probably too nice to me, I think. It's tough being an only child. I didn't have like, you know, being an only child is like a little bit tough, I would say. And so, yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking about that. I guess what I'm saying is life's full of twists and turns, man. I think why I'm thinking about that is just getting a second chance of it all. Like here we are, man, 9 years into like how many lives have I lived in the 9 years on YouTube? I think it's trippy when I really like think about like how trippy all this is, you know? Like what actually is in the 9 years of videos is because I don't think about it on a daily level. Like I'm thinking about it right now because I'm just sort of in that like reminiscent space. But I'm like, dude, it's all on video. Most of it, you know, I left a lot of it off too. Like, you know, the real personal stuff. But, you know, I think it's pretty trippy, man. Well, that's what I'm thinking about. So yeah, man. So I guess what I almost was saying is, I'm looking forward now that everything's settled. I'm looking forward to the. Yeah, it's been a crazy trip through the dream. So yeah, we're getting ready to turn the thing on. The new headquarters here. Do some more. I got some ideas. Like I said, we got to kind of maneuver through the family-friendly apocalypse that's coming. It's funny. I was talking with my wife the other day, and she was like, "Well, we make family videos." I go, "I don't think you can make family videos on YouTube anymore." She's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "We can't make like camping videos and stuff." I go, "I don't think that we can anymore. We'll see." But like, I was like, we'll make some baking videos. We'll like bake some cookies and go out and review thrift stores or something. I don't know. But I definitely going to start making some more no balls, no nets videos. Because now that I'm like stationary again, like I can kind of set up a shop and I also, so I'm also going to kind of do, I've always keep saying I'm going to do this and I try it and I always fail at it, but kind of get a schedule going. I kind of am going to figure out how to get this OSB thing working. So I kind of want to do, so I'm kind of I'm not that into the ranting bag on my head type of thing. I think I really just want to do the dolphin news. And this is my take on it. See if you get, I've talked about this before. I want to do the thing sort of, you know, like how Tim Pool and some of these guys do where they like read the article and then I'll be down in the corner down here and the article comes by. But don't worry. I got a sense of humor. Read the article and then always blame it on the Dolphins, no matter what the article is. Just blame it on the Dolphins. I'd done a couple of them early YouTube where it was like I had this cap on, and the whole point of the thing is how absurd of it all is, but it's like conspiracy thing too of like how you can make any bit of anything ultimately lead to blaming the Dolphins, right? The Dolphins, like the most innocent of all the mammals, realistically. I mean, even though they are like horny little fellers, aren't they? But I mean, it's just this thing where like, I just want to read like all the super serious news and then just at the end, just twist it all around so it blames the Dolphins. Because, you know, someone's got to hold the bag. Like I think 2019, the year of somebody's got to hold the bag. Somebody gets to lose their chair in this game of musical chairs. But that's sort of where I think I kind of want to go. And I definitely want to go more of a humor and take my like, because I've realized like I'm one of those people. I'm not going to not pay attention to what's going on. I do my best to ignore it, not get all sucked down into the morass of it. It's funny. Lily got a hold of me the other day. I was like, dude, you got to get your wig and your lipstick out because AOC made some new comments, and I got my whole thing I want to do about the one-eyed AOC on the right, the gun grabber, that guy from Texas, just Crenshaw. Yeah, I got these bits, but I haven't been stable enough and hadn't have enough space. So we're here, and we're gonna blame the Dolphins. It's not the Russians, it's the Dolphins, dude. I'm telling you, it's the Dolphins. Yeah, it's time to have fun. But you know, we had to go through this whole transition period. We had to make it. I think there's a certain thing I've talked about it in other videos. Is like when you're stranded out in the middle of the ocean and you're in your little rowboat, your little lifeboat, you better start rowing somewhere and just pick a direction and start to row there. And hopefully you'll hit an island. And then once you hit an island, you can stop rowing and you can set up a little lean-to and collect some water and see if there's a bunch of dodo birds to eat, you know? And so I think the last couple of years I've just been rowing the boat, and there's been some hurricanes and some firestorms and some, all I know is I got like the greatest surf session I've had in a long time the other day. And it was like, and we're happy. The children are stoked. The wife's stoked. We got a rad little house on a cul-de-sac in a quiet little neighborhood with homeschoolers on the other side of the cul-de-sac. You know what I mean? Like, it's finally ready to just like, I think it's finally ready to relax. I didn't realize how hard the last year has been until maybe like this very second. Like right now. Like, I think I just finally like, I'm like, oh my God. The last year and a half's been hectic. Really, from the time I declared that I suffer from depression, it's been, I love trolls. We didn't get many trolls tonight. Troll count was low. So yeah, let's talk. So let's get this, we're going to get this thing booming, dude. Let's, thank you, Marie. I appreciate it. Top feed, Pippi, to you and Lily and Charlie. All y'all have been here, man. What an incredible ride, dude. Booming, thriving. We're thriving, dude. So I think I'm gonna get going here. I'm gonna go play with the fam and sit by the fake fire and drink some hot cocoa and be totally domestic about it. I'll tell you what, on the final note, I think I spent most of my life avoiding the simple pleasure of being like kind of living in a somewhat domestic space. And now that I'm here, I'm like, why did I spend so much time fighting it? But then I also realized, thank you, Charlie. I do appreciate that. I do realize that that you have to go through the trials and tribulations in order to truly experience the love of God, right? Like that's what this all is like, now that again, it's just the reward of God saying, you know what, like you stuck with me and you trusted me, and here we are. And so with that, remember to use the name tags. And I don't, we might be here in the morning. I don't think I have, I do have something to do, but not in the morning. But I don't know, man. We're doing good, Duffy 98. You just missed it all, man. We're doing good. We're killing it. It's all beautiful. Scoville 7. Right on, Nathan. I'm glad you appreciate it. All right. Well, there's more of them, and I feel the energy shifting to a way more comical, light, and free tone. Bethel, thanks for taking part today, and it was great chat. I'm very excited. Thank you. All right, everyone. Zombie Apocalypse, Carl. Don't forget, man, that the Dolphins did it. Use the name tags. All right. Good night.